Welcome back to elmagorecaps. Like and subscribe for more amazing recaps.
In a world full of super powerful heroes, intergalactic conquerors, colossal creatures, and hyper-technological cyborgs, a bald guy in a yellow cape tries to solve a problem much bigger than his baldness. He is simply too strong and ends up defeating all creatures with one punch. His name is Saitama, and his hobby is saving the world. Today, we will discover the life of the unexpectedly strongest man of all. Is there anyone capable of making him feel the wonderful adrenaline of a true mortal battle? After an incident where he saved a boy with balls as his chin from being killed by the tighty-whitey Mr. Krabs' son, Saitama decides to become a hero. He dedicates himself wholeheartedly, pushing beyond his limits and training until he goes bald. According to him, his main secret was to eat a banana in the morning and not using an air conditioner in the summer for years to strengthen his mind. One day, a giant and his brother, a mad scientist, decide to go for a jog, destroying dozens of houses along the way. The simple wind created by his arms can destroy buildings, and the city seems like a toy as he walks. Chaos reigns, and while the creature mumbles something, Saitama tells him to put on some pants. After confusing what shoulder his brother was on, the giant ends up crushing him instead of Saitama. Overwhelmed, he then channels all his anger into a relentless assault against the bald hero, while Saitama simply observes. After a while, Saitama delivers a weak punch to the giant's face, sending him flying far away. He complains to himself that being too strong is actually quite boring. The next day, he dreams of an epic battle against giant creatures from the underground, a fight with real stakes. And when he is about to face the final boss after wiping out his underlings, his alarm wakes him up back to easy mode fights. Beneath his house, he sees a completely nerfed version of the creatures from his dream begging for mercy before the fight even begins. Later, while Saitama waters his cactus, an annoying mosquito starts buzzing around, and despite his hyper speed, Saitama can't seem to kill it. Nearby, an alarm warns of a massive swarm of blood-sucking mosquitoes invading the city, causing chaos and prompting a smartass to attempt a quick store robbery after streets got empty. However, an aggressive swarm kills him, and all the blood collected by it is used to feed the mosquito mommy, who orders the swarm to bring more blood for her. But part of it ends up being incinerated by the cyborg Genos, leaving her very angry. She manages to dodge most of the blonde cyborg attacks and tears his arm off. While she is surrounded by a shield of mosquitoes, Saitama arrives in the area with an insecticide and Genos tells him to go away. But the flying baddie covers the area with mosquitoes, so Genos ends up having to incinerate everything, including Saitama's clothes. The problem now is that after sucking all this blood, she became even stronger and easily finished off Genos. But when he was about to self-destruct in an enormous explosion, Saitama slaps Mosquito Mommy in the face, killing her. With his butt in the wind, our hero returns home, but it doesn't take long for Genos to find him asking Saitama to become his master, something the baldy really doesn't want to. Genos then begins to tell the story of his life, explaining how he became a cyborg and saying that his goal was to kill the crazy cyborg that annihilated his family, while Saitama had already made it clear that he had no interest in the subject but continued to listen out of politeness. To make matters worse, Genos keeps calling Saitama master again and again until the bald guy tells him to stop talking before he kills him or dies of boredom. He ends up accepting Genos as his disciple just to make him shut up, but they are interrupted by a praying mantis who invades his room only to die in seconds. Genos goes down to defeat the other monsters his radar revealed, but his master had already buried the heads of the two in the ground while grumbling that it was wrong to destroy other people's houses. After that, a cyborg arrives and starts to fight with Genos, while the Beast King, a lion man pumped with steroids, goes all out on Saitama, just to die with some normal consecutive punches. The cyborg says he is one of the members of the House of Evolution, just like the mosquito girl they killed earlier, and that they came here to take Saitama to their hideout to be studied. After being defeated by Genos, the cyborg monkey says that the founder of the House of Evolution is a brilliant scientist who created hundreds of clones of himself to achieve his goal, take humanity to a new evolutionary level, because in his opinion, everyone else was stupid and weak. As soon as they arrived there, Genos destroyed the 8 floors of their hideout, so the scientist had to release Carnage Kabuto, the strongest and most mentally unstable of the members of the House of Evolution. He tells the creature that his goal is to defeat the intruders. While walking in a corridor of the House of Evolution, Kabuto crushes Genos on the wall and invites Saitama to fight in a special room. The Baldy says that Kabuto will pay for making Genos look like a scrap metal dumpster. As Kabuto prepares to face Saitama, Genos recovers and goes all out on him, launching powerful fire attacks. But none of that is enough to finish off the creature that with a breath managed to put out Genos' flames. Saitama gets excited about the possibility of finally face someone strong, while the scientist joins them to see the human being annihilated by the pinnacle of artificial evolution. Despite being intrigued by the bald guy's strength, Kabuto, the rhino beetle, runs at Saitama, but flies away at the last second in fear. Something in the human's calm posture had told him that he would die if he had attacked him. The creature asks how he became so strong, and Saitama decides to tell what he did, arousing everyone's curiosity. 100 sit-ups, 100 squats, 100 push-ups, and running 10 kilometers every day for 3 years, without ever taking a break. That's his secret. No magic potion or artificial crap, just daily hard work. Genos gets extremely annoyed with him because he thinks Saitama is lying, since what he described was only a normal training that practically anyone with a little preparation could do, and someone with a stupidly overpowered strength like him had surely used a forgotten technique or ate something radioactive. But Saitama assures him that regardless of what Genos thinks, this was the method he used to get stronger. Meanwhile, Kabuto recovers and enters the Azure mode, scaring the scientist and saying that when he enters this mode he loses control over his actions and goes crazy, killing everyone for a week. That is, only next Saturday the massacre would end. Saitama realizes that he made a crucial mistake and is immediately shaken, while Kabuto throws him around the room like a doll more than once. His speed is frightening. The bald guy keeps thinking that he could swear that today was not Saturday yet, and while still shocked he gives a simple punch in Kabuto that ends the fight. Genos explains to the scientist that Saitama was referring to a sale in the market, and proceeds to tell his master that if they hurry they can still arrive there in time. So both of them leave the place and rush back to the city. After they leave, some agents from the Hero Association arrive to investigate what happened at the House of Evolution. Don't worry, soon we'll delve into how this organization operates, and who the world's most formidable heroes are. For now, let's shift our focus to another shiny head. His name is Hammerhead, the leader of a band of revolutionaries advocating that those unwilling to work should be supported by the government. Today, everyone in his gang is equipped with special armor that enhances their physical strength. When his impassioned speeches go totally unnoticed, the group decides to attack the mansion of the tycoon Mr. Money. However, after toppling his enormous building with one punch, they discover this was actually the wrong place. Everyone makes mistakes, so they head to the correct location, a building with a golden poop on its top. Totally unaware of those events, Saitama awakens from a strange nightmare only to find on TV that a group of troublemaking baldies is wreaking havoc in his city. He quickly puts on his yellow hero uniform and rushes to the city to stop this insanity. Genos is at his mechanical scientist's, getting repairs. This elderly gentleman had previously saved Genos' life and promises that this upgrade will make him incredibly powerful. Perhaps even stronger than the mentor the young man speaks so highly of. In the city, the loyal and honorable C-Class hero Mumin Rider takes his bike in search of Hammerhead's group and is swiftly defeated once he finds them. Mr. Money, well aware of the situation, instructs his bodyguard to deal with the bald guy's group, and the ninja Speedo Sound Sonic sets out to find them. As the brilliant-headed revolutionaries approach Mr. Money's building, their leader senses something amiss and tells everyone to stay alert. Sonic offers them a chance to live if they give up, and once they refuse, the modern ninja starts decapitating them like dolls. Hammerhead manages to defend himself, throwing rocks at Sonic, who effortlessly dodges them. Shiny Head's plan, however, is to limit Sonic's movements, creating a direct path between them. As Sonic runs straight toward him, Hammerhead uses a tree to attack him with all his might, but still misses and ends up getting hit in the nape by Sonic's shuriken, and sneakily escapes while the ninja takes a phone call. Meanwhile, our favorite Baldy has ventured into the forest, and encounters a certain bodybuilder with the same haircut. Fed up with everyone, Hammerhead uses his special move, pushing his combat suit to the limit, and spinning his arms like a child. Saitama easily stops the attack, destroying his armor with a simple headbutt, and he lets Hammerhead once again escape. telling him to be a good boy this time. The revolutionary leader runs naked through the forest while Sonic mistakes Saitama for one of the troublemakers and vows to take his life. Saitama tries to explain that he's actually a hero, but Sonic claims never to have heard of him, making him realize that no matter what he says, Sonic's psycho expression indicates that a fight is inevitable. So the ninja starts running at supersonic speed to showcase his skill but misses a kick while Saitama accidentally touches his nuts with his fist. With wobbly legs, Sonic leaves, promising that their next encounter will be the end for Saitama. Later at home, our hero's mood is terrible as he realizes that despite killing hundreds of monsters in the last 3 years, nobody in the world knows him. He reflects that by now he should have a fandom full of pretty girls. Quickly grasping his master's situation, Genos asks if he is an officially registered hero in the Hero Association, and since either of them are, they decide to take the test together. A few days later, they arrive at the Hero Association, and Saitama's performance shocks all the candidates. Regardless of the test, he surpasses his competitors by a significant margin. However, he later discovers that he became only a C-class hero because he performed very poorly on the written exam. Meanwhile, Genos aced everything and became an S-class hero. Nearby, the association committee discusses that this time more than 11,000 candidates applied, but only a few passed because what mattered to them was the quality of their heroes, not the quantity. They already knew Genos for his previous feats, and after a quick interview, they made an exception and placed him in the highest rank possible. On the other hand, Saitama only passed the test because despite doing very poorly on the theoretical section, he obliterated practically all records. It was as if there was a god within his body, one of the analysts remarked during the seminar. While an older hero explained the duties and behavior of a true hero, our favorite Baldy chewed gum and only thought about what he would eat for dinner, much to the annoyance of the A-class hero, who later complained to one of the association executives about his unacceptable behavior. However, he was surprised to learn that the organization had high expectations for these new recruits, so he decided to test Saitama personally and ended up on the ground shortly afterward. Later, master and disciple meet in an open place for combat training. Genos promised to give his all and asked Saitama to do the same. Despite the frightening technique and speed of the blonde cyborg, his master easily dodged his first blow. This made Genos go even faster, pushing the limits of his last upgrade, but he still lost sight of Saitama and was only following a post-image of him. None of his attacks had even scratched his master, but still he complained that Saitama was being too relaxed. Out of respect for his disciple, the Baldy briefly takes the fight seriously. When his fist was about to crush Genos' face, Saitama stops. Behind the cyborg, a gigantic hole is opened in the mountain created only by the wind from his punch. Later, as they finish dinner, Sweet Mask, the first rank A-class A hero, visits Genos and says he expects great things from him, but the conversation has an almost threatening undertone. Some days later, while Saitama was relaxed, reading a manga, Genos tells him that during the seminar they said that if a C-class hero doesn't fulfill any proven activity within a week, their hero license would be revoked. So Saitama, who spent the whole week reading manga, rushes to the city alone because according to him, an S-class hero would obviously get all the credits if they encountered any threat. Before leaving, he invents a random moral lesson for his disciple to think about, but in reality, it was just a stall tactic because he has no idea what to teach the blonde cyborg. The Baldy spends hours running at full speed through the city looking for crimes, but in the end, there was nothing happening. Shortly afterward, he encounters Sonic but tells him to go away because he has better things to do. Sonic attacks him, and Saitama breaks his sword with his teeth. A little girl asks Tank Top Master, a famous C-class hero, to deal with Saitama, who seems like a madman running around the city all day scaring everybody. While the Kate Baldy explains to the muscular dude that he is a hero, Sonic knocks Tank Top Master down with his shurikens and starts causing damage in the city. After heroically saving a boy from being crushed by a car, Saitama flicks Sonic on the head, defeating him. Meanwhile, at the Hero Association, a green-haired loli gets irritated when she can't find any mission worthy of her time, and the association members analyze the recent events and their resolutions, such as the reconstruction of the city destroyed by the giant and his brother, and a video of Hammerhead dressed in a suit and tie looking for a job. Lately, some strange monsters had begun to appear in Z City, so they sent 2 A-class heroes to investigate what was happening there. After walking a bit through the destroyed city, the hero duo encounters a creature with algae-like tentacles. Golden Ball fires a projectile capable of piercing steel plates, but the creature's tentacles are more resistant, and it easily throws him against a building wall, knocking him out. Swing Mustachio initially manages to withstand the creature's attacks but can't hit it because it's too fast, so he asks for help from the headquarters, which relays the request to all nearby A-class heroes. But since they take too long to arrive, the swordsman is defeated. While reflecting on the rumor he heard about a bunch of other monsters gathering there, the monster encounters a guy returning home with groceries and decides to attack him with his algae-like tentacles, which, after being properly washed and cooked, becomes Saitama's dinner. Our hero doesn't waste anything. If you let him, he might even eat stones. As for the A-class heroes from before, they are alive, but hospitalized. The rumor that Z City would become the epicenter of a monster epidemic grows even more in society, and Tornado, a S-class heroine, upon hearing about this, scolds the Heroes Association executive for not telling her about this incident earlier, since she would have easily solved it. Meanwhile, just outside Earth's atmosphere, an astronaut sees a meteor pass, and on Earth, all the astronomers are in shock. The giant rock will soon collide with our planet, and since it changed route in the last second, nobody was prepared to deal with it. Z City would be destroyed. Immediately Genos is summoned by the association, but Saitama stays at home relaxing. Neither of them knows what is about to happen. Arriving at the rendezvous point, the blonde cyborg finds only Bang, a veteran S-class hero, who explains that only they two answered the call among all the heroes because this mission is nothing short of suicidal, so most heroes wouldn't bother to even try. Bang says that he only showed up because in that city, there's a dojo that has been in his family for generations and he would never abandon it. Genos heads as fast as he can to the possible impact site, reflecting that it's now too late to evacuate the city, and decides to test a new upgrade still in the testing phase. Surprisingly, the S-class Metal Knight arrives and says he is only here to test his new weapon and tells Genos that he has no intention of helping him beyond that. When confronted if he wasn't afraid of dying, he responds that this armor is just a drone, and his body is in a safe location far away. After launching a rain of missiles that cause a huge explosion, but isn't enough to destroy the Meteor, Metal Knight disappears. With only 30 seconds until impact, Genos begins to prepare his attack, but seems indecisive about his ability to stop the meteor. Stay calm, Bang tells him, continuing to say that when you're backed against the wall, you must act without fear of failure. The blonde cyborg calms down and decides to go all out, connecting his energy core directly to his arm and launching the biggest energy blast of his life. For a moment, Bang believes he saw the meteor retreating a bit back to space, but it was just an illusion. It only slowed it down for a moment. With 9 seconds left until impact, Genos falls to his knees, powerless. Then the Cape Baldy arrives and asks the old man to take care of Genos while he resolves a minor issue. His disciple looks at him incredulously, and with a leap that destroys the roof of the building they were in, Saitama flies toward the huge meteor, punching through it with a single blow, shattering it into hundreds of pieces. However, despite the visual spectacle, several fireballs hit Z City, causing massive destruction. Far from there, Tatsumaki summoned a different meteor to deal with a troublesome dinosaur wreaking havoc for the army, and once again was left out. Back at home, watching the news on television, Genos tells Saitama that he moved up to the 5th position in C-class while the blonde cyborg became the 15th in S-class. Saitama would have risen even higher for solving a dragon-level crisis, but the association thought Metal Knight had been decisive in destroying the meteor. When Saitama asked what these ranks meant, Genos explained that a god-level threat could end the human race. Dragon-level is capable of destroying a city, demon-level can paralyze the functioning of a city, and tiger-level can cause massive loss of lives. Usually, heroes take into consideration the threat level before responding to the association's call, but Saitama obviously doesn't care about that, and the Baldy responds with a question: if the heroes flee, who's left to help? And after that, Saitama decided to go for a walk. After looking around the partially destroyed city, he encounters 2 B-class heroes who begin accusing him of destroying the city, riling up the nearby inhabitants who were obviously angry about the destruction. The heroes continue saying that thanks to him, people were homeless, and if Saitama had stayed out of it, surely stronger heroes would have handled the situation much more smoothly. The people then unite in a chorus telling Saitama to give up being a hero while Bang observes from afar but doesn't intervene because he knows Saitama doesn't need help and is the strongest man he's ever seen. The two heroes then decide to attack Saitama, who effortlessly defeats them. After that, he tells everyone that it was indeed him who destroyed the meteor, and if anyone wants to complain, they can complain to the meteor that fell from the sky. He continues saying he was a hero because he wanted to, not for admiration or approval from anyone. Seeing that his master is out of himself, Genos interrupts and asks him to stop and go home. After calm down, Saitama follows him. On the way back, Genos tells his master that he is the most amazing person he has ever seen, a true hero, and that regardless of what happens, he will continue to follow him. While Genos was drying the dishes at home, an invasion by creatures self-defined as the people of the sea began in J City. Saitama had already killed one of these sea monsters the other day, and right now a Class A hero was being defeated by one of them. Most of the C-class heroes decided to leave the city, not believing they could stand a chance against these creatures, with two exceptions, Saitama and Kamen Rider. The latter always gave his all and therefore decided to head towards the invaders, while Saitama did the same. Lightning Max, another Class A hero, was beaten up by the Deep Sea King and was saved by Pretty Prisoner, a S-class hero who has just escaped from prison and was followed by Sonic. He exchanged some blows with the Sea King, and when he noticed he was at a disadvantage, he activated the Winx mode and unleashed a barrage of punches that unfortunately didn't do much damage. After that, the monster decided to retaliate and ended up defeating the S-class hero, kicking him away like a ball. Meanwhile, as the rain fell, Sonic began to toy with the creature. He knew he was faster and initially, he fought relaxed, managing to dodge all the blows and land a kick on the Deep Sea King. But quickly, the monster grew larger, faster, and stronger due to the rain and the ninja noticed it. After stating that next time they fought he would finish off the Sea King, Sonic fled naked. Passing by Genos, he told the cyborg to leave because he didn't stand a chance against that monster. Genos, not paying attention and noticing high energy levels nearby, decides to head there. Meanwhile, in one of the city's shelters, some heroes gathered to fight the Deep Sea King. Among them was the A-class hero who fought Saitama earlier and a boxing cyborg. They were all quickly massacred by the monster, and before it could attack the civilians, Genos arrived. Taking advantage of the monster's momentary distraction, he delivered a powerful blow that sent the creature flying away and created a huge hole in the shelter. But caught off guard, he had his arm ripped off by the monster. Elsewhere in the city, Saitama saw Sonic running past naked. He got off Kamen Rider's bicycle, parting ways with him. After losing sight of Sonic, Saitama received a call from the Hero Association, which decided to send him to fight the sea monsters, despite him being only a C-class hero. Meanwhile, following only his instincts, the bravest C-class hero ventured into the night under the heavy rain. Genos gave his all to protect those people that night, delivering a series of combined blows. Even without an arm, he managed to inflict considerable damage on the Sea King. But when hit by an acid spit, he was severely damaged, soon being thrown out of the shelter by a punch from the powerful creature. Just as the monster was about to kill him, Kamen Rider arrived. The monster, now fully recovered due to the rain, didn't take him seriously and, without much effort, threw the cyclist far away. Kamen Rider got up and tried again, being knocked down a second time. But he didn't give up. Inspiring everyone, the bravest C-class hero attacked the monster who had defeated more than one S-class hero once again. Despite being easily defeated, he didn't die and was saved by Saitama, who told him he did a great job buying precious seconds that probably saved many lives. As for Genos, Saitama told him not to worry because now he would finish off the frog face. The Sea King didn't like the nickname and punched Saitama's bald head, surprised when his punch didn't hurt him at all. After that, the monster explained that since he was the ruler of the seas and all life on Earth evolved from the sea, he should automatically be the king of the world. Saitama told him to hurry up with his speech because it was raining, and when the furious creature attacked, he defeated it with a single punch, as always. Initially, people were extremely grateful, but some began to say that he only defeated the Deep Sea King because the other heroes weakened the creature and his contribution wasn't actually that great, irritating Saitama. Back home, they received some letters, one of which thanked the Baldy for his good work, and another invited him to an interview at the Hero Association, where they asked him if he wanted to join Class B. He accepted, wanting to avoid weekly missions. Thus, he rose in rank and started at the bottom of Class B. Some members of the association thought he cheated and that's why he rose in rank so quickly, but others were sure otherwise. Sweet Mask became intrigued by him when he watched the video of his fight against the Sea King, but for now, he decided not to do anything. Later, by chance, Saitama met Human Rider, who told him he was the author of the thank you letter, and they decided to eat together to celebrate Saitama's promotion, while the cyclists reflected on how powerful and humble the Baldy was. A few days later, Saitama and Genos went to visit Silver Fang's dojo and were interrupted by a member of the Hero Association who personally came to summon the two S-class heroes to an emergency meeting. Genos invited Saitama, who decided to go with them because things seemed serious. Upon arriving, Silver Fang introduced Saitama to Atomic Samurai, saying that the Baldy was there because he had great potential and would one day also be a S-class hero. The samurai replied that if that happened, he would give Saitama some attention, but not today. Tornado asked what a weakling from B-class was doing there among the world's strongest heroes, and Saitama ignored her, asking Genos who that lost child was. Genos explained that Tornado was the second strongest hero in the world, while she tells them to stop ignoring her. Inside the meeting room, Saitama thanked the little robot who brought him coffee while the agency director welcomed the heroes present. Blast, the strongest hero in the world, didn't come, nor did Metal Knight, but the rest attended the call. He went on to say that something terrible had happened and whoever decided to stay in the meeting would have to help solve an extremely difficult mission. When nobody left, he said that before dying, the world's most famous clairvoyant had predicted that in the next 6 months, the Earth would face a huge threat and would be in danger, and since she never made mistakes, the association decided to gather them there as quickly as possible. Immediately, the association building came under attack, and the emergency lights were activated. The director was terrified when he found out that in a matter of seconds, 99% of the city had been decimated. Outside, a huge spaceship hovered in the air, and a humanoid creature with 5 heads fought against an A-class hero, who despite fighting well, lost his arm. Atomic Samurai, his master, arrived a little later and chopped the monster into pieces. But the problem was that it could regenerate very quickly. Bang, Metal Bat, and Pretty Prisoner joined them. Inside the ship, Saitama was already destroying everything in his path, looking for their boss, while outside, Genos and other Class S heroes devised a strategy to bring down the ship. King, known as the strongest man in the world, said he couldn't help them this time, deeply irritating Tornado, who said she would solve everything herself since King was too scared to do anything. Bang and the other heroes were giving their all to take down the 5-headed creature, which had now merged into one. But no matter how much they disfigured its body, it kept regenerating every time. Atomic Samurai's disciple tried to get them to retreat to come up with a new plan, but they didn't listen to him. They were used to winning and would never retreat. Meanwhile, on the ship, a telekinetic octopus was desperate because Saitama was reducing their numbers at an insane pace. The Baldy had already annihilated 50% of its population. Down below, completely by chance, Metal Bat found a kind of marble inside the creature and destroyed it with a swing, realizing that a part of the monster turned into a disgusting slime afterward. He told the others that breaking these blue marbles was the secret to defeating the creature, so they got back to work. Melzigard, seeing himself at a disadvantage, asked the ship commander to send a bombardment to his location to destroy those persistent bugs. But when the bombs were halfway there, Tornado sent them all back using her telekinetic powers, destroying a good part of the ship. She said that all the big shots present would be dead if it weren't for her, astonishing the agency members. Meanwhile, the mad scientist was watching all this news from home, as well as Sonic, unlike Human Rider, who focused on rescuing the survivors of the initial explosion along with Stinger and Lightning Max. Fulfilling her promise, Tornado decided to literally throw buildings and other debris at the ship, causing even more damage to it from the outside. Seeing that the situation seemed practically resolved and not knowing who was inside the ship, Engine Knight decided to leave and, before doing so, warned Genos that Metal Knight was his enemy and that he would soon find out why. fighting nearby. Atomic Samurai's group had already defeated some of the heads, and now Bang found another marble inside the creature's eye, being thrown far away by Melzigard after destroying the penultimate marble. The monster then decided to change tactics. The swordsman didn't let it slide, and for a moment, they engaged in a fierce battle. Bang, showing an enviable physique, returned to the fight and finished off the monster. Pretty prisoners celebrated the victory while Metal Bat, looking up, said that the job wasn't done yet. Nearby, Mumin Rider and the others rescued the last survivor while the C-class hero faced the colossal spaceship, wondering what was happening there. While inside it, after all the destruction caused by the Baldi, the telepathic octopus ordered him to leave the ship and pick the right path. Saitama, who had been pretending to follow the creature's advice until then, took the left path and not long after arrived in the control room. Jerry Jurgenship, a telekinetic dragon-level threat, was fed up with Saitama and manipulated the gravity around the Cape Baldi to a level comparable to that of a black hole, unleashing a barrage of rocks with potential akin to that of a meteor. Saitama said it wasn't a big deal. He could also throw rocks and killed the monster with a single stone. After walking through the ship a bit more, Saitama found their boss, Boros. This cool-looking alien who claimed to be the universe's conqueror, leader of a group called the Dark Matter Thieves, said that back home he was too strong to find a worthy opponent, and was thus bored. His species had godlike regeneration powers and physical prowess beyond mortal comprehension. But one day, a psychic told him that somewhere in the universe existed someone who could challenge him on equal terms. Saitama interrupted his speech with a punch that unexpectedly didn't defeat the Emperor of the Universe, and so the fight began.